Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Hayden Newberry Fishing. We are back in the camper again tonight to talk more about a subject that I think a lot of guys that fish tournaments are going to be interested to hear. Before I get started, I want to remind everybody, send your tournament stories in to h.newberryfishing@gmail.com. That is going to be for my story time episodes. I did the first one with one of my tournament stories, and I'm going to do more episodes with some that people have sent in. If I use your story on it, I'm going to send you guys a free lure or a bait of some sort. To start out, we're going to do the V&M swim jig, and then from there on, I'm not really even sure. I've already had some stories start rolling in. I think it's going to be pretty cool. But I think the week after next is probably going to be the first week that I start using all the stories and sending people some free stuff. So, tonight, I wanted to talk about making money in the BFLs. Something very, very hard to do. And I wanted to break it down for everybody and explain ways that you can make more money for yourself if you are fortunate enough to finish really high in one of the tournaments. Ways that you can do some damage control on expenses if you go in and you don't place very well. At least you haven't just busted however much money some people dump in these things. Some people will go into like a BFL spending thousands of dollars and have no chance of winning anything. But I'm going to go through at least what I would have spent and possibly expected to make on the tournament for Lake Kiowee. So that was one of the closer BFLs that I actually was considering going and fishing, but I had to work that weekend. But anyway, I'm going to break down expenses now that the tournament's over and the payouts and everything were laid out. I can tell you guys exactly what a person could have expected that was in my situation. I had a fairly short drive there, I would say. Kind of I guess, a couple hours, but some people drive way farther than that for BFLs. I know I've driven quite a ways for a few of them. Back when I used to do the ones in Arkansas, sometimes I'd drive over 5 hours to go to a BFL, which not the smartest thing if you're looking to make money at one. But anyway, let's start out with kind of the breakdown of expenses. And I did two different scenarios, and we'll get we're going to start worst case scenario, I guess. Worst case scenario for it being realistic. I could have definitely went worse than this, but I broke down average price of gas for each way, which it's 149 miles each way from me to Kiowee from here. And then I did 3 days of practice. Like I said, this is worst case scenario. Not everybody has to do 3 days of practice, but a lot of people do more than that. A lot of people do less than that. And then I average it out for practice and tournament day, me burning half a tank. So burn 20 gallons, which some people might disagree with that. If you burn less than that, congratulations. But a lot of times I burn more than that on a practice day. So we're taking right down the middle of what I expect to burn practicing on a lake that I haven't been on in a little bit. And we're also cutting it down to 8-hour practice days. You can practice longer than that, obviously, but I think that 8 hours is a good control amount of fishing time. And then I did $30 a night for my campsite. I actually used the one that they launched the tournament out of. So all this is, literally Lake Kiowee. I used the gas prices from that town. I looked them up. I used the campsite prices from that town. I chose the campsite that the tournament was launched out of. Best case scenario, because there's plenty of times that you got to drive 20 minutes to and from the lake to practice. So, but very good scenario here. $30 a night for the campsite. I did go absolutely short on this because there are times that you have all the tackle that you need, but as fishermen, we know that we always buy a stupid amount of tackle before every tournament. That's how it goes, but I did $50 in tackle. To me, that is absolutely insane number. I always spend more than that coming up to a tournament. But $50 in tackle, if you're being conservative and not just spending all your money on that. I did, if you are able to bring food. Obviously, if you go and eat out one time, this is gonna screw up the amount of food you're gonna spend. But I did go ahead and add in like $40 for food, which 99% of you are gonna spend more than that over all the practice days and everything on food. And then the $220 entry fee to get in the tournament. So, with that being said, if you go there, practice for however many days, for 3 days, and then fish the tournament, stay at campgrounds, you're going to look to spend about $807 total for your expenses. So that means that had I went to the BFL on Kiwi, practiced 3 days, and done all this, I would have had to pay a place 5th place or better to make money. That is out of 120 boat field. I think it was right at 120 boats. So, that's pretty bad odds going into a tournament that I'm not currently living at the lake or anything, to go against a bunch of locals mainly and get 5th place or better. And then if I got 5th place, fished 8-hour tournament days or 8-hour practice days, and then the tournament day, I went ahead and broke down hourly wages for you guys too, so you kind of bring it into perspective of what you would be making as a fisherman per hour had you placed in the top 5 of the BFL on Lake Kiwi. You would have made $8.05 an hour before taxes on your time spent, and then had you gotten 4th, you would have made $10. Actually, 3rd and 4th made $10.85 an hour. 2nd made $66.50 an hour, and 1st made $182.14 an hour. So, really, to make above minimum wage, you needed to place 2nd or better to break that minimum wage barrier. Actually, I think minimum wage here is more than that. I'm sure it's over $10.85. Anyway, to make adult wages, you would have needed to do pretty good in the tournament. I also broke down what I think should be done during BFLs. This is also a matter of opinion, but maybe it persuades people to not beat up the lake for an entire week leading up to a tournament. Cutting down on practice time is going to be your biggest moneymaker in the BFLs. Actually, biggest aside from not staying in hotels. If you stay in a hotel, you're just going to probably give up all of your money unless you get first place or 2nd place. But anyway, I redid most of this for 1 day of practice and then the tournament. I think this is how most BFLs should be practiced for. I don't think you need to be out there for 3 days to practice for a 1-day tournament. And it's going to actually make it to where you can make a little bit of money. A little bit. Like, little bit. But 1 day of practice and 1-day tournament. Again, 8-hour days. We're cutting down on campground time. We're cutting down on boat gas, which is a huge expense. And we're going to be looking at, you're still spending over $500 total to fish the tournament, but at least that way you can make money all the way out to 8th place. So if you practice 1 day for your BFL and then fish the tournament for 1 day, and this is not 16 hours that you're being paid for instead of 34, you will make $3 an hour if you place 8th place. Now, 1st place, you're doing pretty good. $401 an hour and 56 cents for 1st place. So, I guess my moral of the story is that I think, for everybody's sake, for all this, that you should practice less to at least make a little bit more money. Either way, BFLs are not necessarily a place that you go into to expect to make money. That being said, also, you have the chance of qualifying for the regionals and the All-American and everything. So, truthfully, the tournaments, when it comes to BFLs, I feel like this kind of confirms it for you, are not the place to go to try to make money. Your odds of placing top 5, top 8 in these are pretty slim. I mean, you're talking 120 boat field going out and placing top 5. Not that it doesn't happen. It's just it's not going to happen every time. And by the time you build up a few tournaments, then you're just not even going to make anything when you get first. But again, they pick up kind of the slack when you go past or when you go to regionals. You can at least possibly make a little bit of money there, but BFLs really aren't the place to go do it. I think I'm going to do some more breakdowns of tournament expenses and things for BFL's co-angler side, probably Toyota Series and stuff also, just to put the information out there so that I feel like there's quite a few people that don't necessarily think of it this way and really think about how I guess the risk and reward going into it. I look at it this way a lot because it's something to really think about when you're spending that much time and money to go to a tournament. The big factor for me is I love fishing tournaments. A lot of guys that fish these love fishing tournaments, and if they made 2 cents an hour, they wouldn't care, and that's how I am most of the time. If I'm getting paid to fish, period, I'm all right with getting paid to fish. But there are some other avenues possibly that would be better than fishing a BFL if you're looking to make money to fish. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel for more breakdowns and stuff like this and more interesting tournament topics. So thanks for watching. See you on the next one.